Numero UNO, me and Drizzy like the Super Bowl, man. Then it big as the what? Big as the what? Big as the what? Big as the Super Bowl.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Warframe video. Today I got you guys a little quick update video on what's about to happen. March is about to come to an end quicker than what you think because of a lot of stuff that we're going to be getting. Legit, the last 2 weeks of this month, I know these first 2 weeks have been dead, but the last 2 weeks of this month is about to just go crazy with content and news information. So I'm going to give you guys a little heads up and a little update on what's to come. So if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, and if you already subscribed, I appreciate it. Today we're going to be talking about the 18 new weapons that we are going to be receiving on the 1999 Echo update, March 19th. They're just weapons that are a reflection of a certain faction of the game. So they already have one for the Grineer faction and the Corpus faction called the Kuva system and the Tenet Sister system. Now we're on the Infected system, which is the TECHNOCYTE CODA weapons. But these weapons are very good because they can be formatted 5 additional times to make your weapon reach level 40. So you can already use formas on any weapon that many times regardless, but for some reason these weapons could visually get the level 40 mark on it. And then on top of that, you can even trade these weapons to other players for platinum. So it's a nice way to make a little 10-0 dough out here on the Orkin system. I know it gets tough out here. Hey, this is just adding another item to the market in which can help players make some platinum. But the cool thing about this is that these infected bosses that are going to be hunting us will now have a chance to drop ephemeras, which is, you can see the one on my Ash right now. That's just one example of like this aura visual effect you can attach to your Warframe, just helping the drip look more drippier. Your infected Lich is going to have a 20% chance to get this ephemera. So they showed us already there are 8 ephemeras coming with this update. They look really nice. 4 of them are like energy related and the other 4 are more infected looking ones. So I'm excited to get my hands on these. On top of that, there's a lot of other rewards that I highly recommend you guys checking out my previous videos where I dive deeper into that stuff. But that's why it's going to be so crazy, because not only that, we're getting 5 additional weapons from another faction, 1 additional weapon from the Atradi faction, as well as 4 new proto frames. And then there's a lot more like in between quality of life and reworks and stuff that's coming out. But for this video specifically, we are going to be going over the weapons that we are going to get. So starting off with the new TECHNOCYTE CODA weapons. Starting off with the melee category, the Mire. This one is getting an upgrade like the first infested long sword, and it has toxin as its base built-in proc. And this is nice because it goes, it helps you defeat Narmer, I believe. It does have a very nice augment mod that can help. It's called Toxic Blight. You would just automatically gain 100% toxin status chance, but toxin is good because it does bypass shield. So you can also see this being dangerous for Corpus units or enemies with low health and high shields. But the thing is, it has very low crit chance, as you can see, and the crit damage or the multiplier is kind of low. You can gain this weapon from the market, so you can see you can just buy the blueprint and then craft it in your foundry. Or if you are a new player, you can also gain this weapon for free from completing the Erish Junction. The second one we got is the Pathocyst. So this one is your glaive. I kind of don't use this a lot, but I like using glaives. I just don't know why I haven't gotten to this one yet. But this is going to be big because this is going to be our first Lich weapon for a glaive. I think another category gets covered in this too, like the sniper category. So we have its glaive. You already know what glaives are broken for. You throw it, you click the heavy button, which makes it explode. It has base viral damage, which is nice. You can see it has good status chance as well, which can help you deal damage to the Orkin faction for sure. It does have maggots that would spawn on explosion, and the maggots are very good because they would interrupt the enemies, so they allow you to have some form of crowd control. Because you have maggots, I would highly recommend you adding like a cold proc, because those maggots would help spread that damage. If you don't like cold, you can even think like the electricity proc because this weapon might go crazy with arcane melee influence for it. Then we have the third melee, the Caustacyst. This weapon is a infested scythe that has base corrosive damage, which means it's going to dominate the Grineer and Scaldra. By the way, all the weapons I'm showing you guys today, you can already farm for. I'm just showing you the pre-forms before we get their new updated evolved forms. The heavy attack also shoots out like a corrosive wave. This one I think has the highest base damage of all the scythes in the game. I don't know if that's including the Kuva shield egg, but hey, if it is, then damn, this is a scythe that you kind of want, probably over the Reaper. But the thing is, it does have low crit chance. Yeah, you can see that 9% is kind of dookie. You can gain this weapon from the biolab in the dojo. You can gain this weapon from completing the boss fight, fighting the Zealoid. I think it's on Deimos, and the mission is called Execute. But yeah, once you buy the blueprint from the dojo, the Mutigan mask is also a resource that you craft from this biolab. It takes a few hours to craft, so make sure you stack up and get the farming on that as early as possible for you to grind this weapon. Now the Hirudo, I'm very excited for because I have a Riven mod that I want to test out, but this is the fourth and final melee weapon that we're getting for the TECHNOCYTE CODA weapons. This one is you fight with your fist and your feet, so it does give you a little, a little speed boost if you like using this. I think it gives you a 5% speed boost. When you deal crit damage, it heals you, so you have that in mind as an asset. And then it does base puncture damage, so that means this one's probably deadly for the Orkin and the Corpus. But it does have a high crit chance, as you can see with that 30%. It's going crazy, and the critical multiplier is already at 3 times. So yeah, you already know that this weapon might even become one of the meta weapons when this new Coda system is finally dropping. But as you can see, you can just buy the blueprint from the market. It does take the Kogake in order to craft it, so you have to craft the Kogake first and then sacrifice your own Kogake to make the Hirudo. Now moving on to the secondary category for the Coda weapons, we have the Catabolyst. So this secondary weapon is one of your short-range beam-like pistols that deals corrosive damage. So it's already effective against the Grineer and the Scaldra, which is perfect for late game. But it's if you do reload your weapon, it throws a grenade. So you toss your mag technically, and it explodes. So there is a cool augment for this weapon called critical mutation. So as you get more kills with that weapon, your critical chance and your critical damage will go up. I would recommend this weapon for like the Demolist or strong 1v1 types of enemy situations. But you can craft this weapon on the biolab as well. It would use the Mutigan mask, so you would need to craft those from the biolab with it in order to craft this weapon. It already deals base corrosive, so if you add on another progenitor element from the Coda system, you can see this weapon just dealing crazy amount of status, and it might even be comparable to the Epitaph. It might take use of the galvanized mods like crazy. And then we have the Pox. So the Pox, I think they're kunais. Yeah, they're infected kunais, and they create like a toxin cloud, so it can help you spread that status effect. The only thing is, it does have a low ammo pool, so you don't have a bunch of them. But it has a cool augment called Concealed Explosives, which gives you an 80% status chance on kill. I believe it gives you an 80% status chance or critical chance on kill. But you can get this weapon from the biolab as well in your dojo. You just craft it. You can see Nitane Extract is probably going to be one of the other weird ones. Resource you can get from the Nightwave. You just go to the shop and spend your cred on it. It's for free. And then the Mutigan mask is also built at the bio lab, so make sure you pick up a lot. You can see a pattern that a lot of these weapons from the bio lab uses that Mutigan mask. So if you really want to stack up on these weapons now for mastery ranking points, you want to start as early as possible so you can the weight doesn't hit you as hard. Now we have the other secondary Coda weapon, the Tysis. So the Tysis is like I think of it as like the nail almost, but it shoots out darts that has very good puncture where it pulls in the enemies with it. So wherever you're pointing, it has like that very good pinpoint accuracy. with a base of corrosive damage with it, so you already know what that means. It's very good at armor stripping, and it has a high status chance at 50% already, which is insane already. So you can see this one being like a new epitaph or new core for sure in terms of like status proccing. But you can always buy this weapon from the market as well. Now after the secondaries, now we're on to the primary Coda weapons. These are going to be probably one of the favorite ones, but we do have the Hema. So the Hema is getting a Coda variant where it's health based. So instead of reloading and you have ammo that you need to pick up, it uses your own health to reload. And it has a base of viral damage. So you already, like, that's already 2 status effects that you can proc. And then when you get that progenitor, you can tell that this one might also be a meta weapon in the future. But very lethal against the Orkin. The headshots do heal the player, so that's how you can kind of offset the cost and help with efficiency. The only thing is it does have low critical chance, but you know, it does have decent status chance. So it's still a nice weapon. But using this with a warframe that utilizes health would probably be more ideal. Otherwise, you might just be killing yourself in the end. But yeah, the next primary that we have is the Sporothrix. So this is the other. This sniper rifle is like it shoots out. So it does 2. I think it does a bullet, which is like a barb, like a coiling. I don't know how to explain it. Like it latches onto people, and then it explodes into mist. So it helps with that status chance and affecting other enemies. It does have a crazy critical multiplier at 3 times already, and it does have high status chance at already 53%. But the thing is, you can look at that 1% critical chance. That's the, yeah, I mean, you can try, but I would say it's more beneficial with that status chance. It does have a 2.7 zoom mode that increases your headshot damage by 50%. And it does have a cool augment called volatile variant where it adds on a +3 punch through to your sniper rifle. And instead of waiting for the barbs to explode, it will just instantly do it. And the barbs will have a 4-meter radius with an increase of 50% status chance to those miss. And finally, of the TECHNOCYTE CODA weapons, we have the Synapse, which I also feel like would be the next meta weapon, or it'll be added to the meta pool for sure. But this one is one of the bio weapons that has a base corrosive, so another 2 additional base elements that would help with the progenitor element added on. It does get a 20% increase in headshot damage. After 0.6 seconds of usage, after a second of using this thing, the damage would scale from 20% to 100%. I think in the head only, but I could be wrong. But it does have high critical chance at 39%. It just has that low status chance, so you would, you know, use some mods to help increase that, as well as it being a progenitor weapon. You might not even have to worry about it because it would already increase it from doing your variant fusion. Now there's 3 additional ones that are just completely new. Those are the Kodo Motivore, which is the new chainsaw blade looking one. We do have our good share of like the gold saw blade, but this one would change its physical appearance based off of physical attack mods. So if you're going with slash, impact, or puncture, it would have different forms based off of those mods. The second one is the dual Coda Nicardia, which is a new dual pistol, and it does cold explosions on kill. So with the crit multiplier and the new cold reworks, you can already tell that this would instantly become a good meta weapon for sure. And then we'll be getting the Mercy shotgun for our 3rd new weapon, and all we know is that it shoots out an infested hand at the enemy. So I'm excited to see and get our hands on that one when it's finally dropping. But those are going to make up the 13 new TECHNOCYTE CODA weapons that we are getting. But I said 18 plus, so we are getting an Entrati pistol, in which that we've seen in the dev stream, where the bullets would return back to the user, and that's when it would inflict the damage. And it does like a nice unique animation on the bullets returning, so it's super sick. I'm excited to try it out. We have 5 potentially, I'm going to say potentially 5 new Scaldro weapons that they showcased as well. One is just a pistol, the other one is a ghoul sickle, The third one is a ghoul rifle, and then the fourth one is our grenade launcher. And they commented below like, oh, we can get that RPG that you like if we can persuade Rebecca. So I'm thinking if they already went out their way to put that little message in there, I feel like we should be expecting an RPG as well from the Scourger faction. But that makes up the 18 plus weapons that we are getting in the March 19th update. Let me know which weapon is your most excited or most anticipated one. Hopefully I gave you guys a good visual example of the weapons to come. But like always, you guys have a good one. Stay safe, keep up the grind, and peace.